Welcome back, Sober Family. It's Alika. This is another episode of Recovery Talk brought to you by Pro Recovery Power. So, a couple of announcements before I get into our show today. Now, the Pro Recovery Power website is live. You guys can go on prorecoverypower.com and check it out. Talks more about what PRP really is. Clothing is just a part of it. And also, what else? I got that. But go check us out there, our website. But today, I'm really excited about today's show. A lot of you guys know about it, what we're gonna be doing, who's gonna be on, and thank you so much, Instagram. I literally said this last week, Saturday or Sunday. It was last week, one of my lives that I was asking, wondering when Instagram was gonna come out where more than one person, multiple people can go live at once. So here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Buckle your seatbelts. Hey, Blair. Oh, Kevin.
Hi. Oh my gosh.
Yo.
Wow.
Whoa.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
What's up, guys?
This is
Oh my
cool.
gosh, I love this already.
I know, me too. This is great. All right, thank you, Instagram. Right on. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good.
All right. I know.
Good
I was so busy, man. Today I was downtown LA. I seen Jim. I had to go do a photo shoot with I do all kind of stuff, and I literally just got home when I messaged you guys. I was like, okay, I gotta hurry up and get ready. There was traffic coming back. I don't know if there was an accident or what, but thank you guys all, especially you, Kevin, bro. You know I've been dying to get you on with me live. So, so thank you guys.
I
So much
apologize for my dogs are about to go crazy.
Oh, it's all good.
Because my wife just
we
got
have
home.
dogs. Yeah, we have a dog, so I understand. But before we get started, I mentioned this. We talked about it yesterday. Oh, Jill, nice shirt, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
didn't wear mine.
Oh,
You did
Blair,
last
can go
time
put it
now.
on there.
Yeah, I wore it last time. I thought about it like a minute ago and I was like, shoot, I don't have
No,
time.
it's all good. It's all good. But thank you guys. Thank you. Does it fit good, Jill? It looks good.
Yeah,
All
Drew
right.
is jealous.
Oh. But so before we get into this, I know that Blair, you had something good you messaged us about to talk about. But before we get into all of that and some Q&As, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. For anybody watching, if you guys have questions for any one of us, you can ask us here in the comments, or there's a question mark box. You literally can post comments or questions in there as well. But to get us started, I wanted Jill to talk about the effects alcohol has on the body. But because, I like to bring awareness to people in general, because the effects alcohol has on the body pertains to alcoholics and non-alcoholics. So human beings, period, basically. So I wanted to start off with that. Jill, if you would be so kind to please educate us.
Yeah, so I think a general rule is like it affects everything because it affects every part of the brain. It affects like basically everything in the body. So any kind of ailment or issue that you're having, alcohol could be the cause or it could be at least a contributor to that problem. So like for example, my husband, who's a normal drinker, he had really bad acid reflux for years, and he was going to all these doctors. They wanted to do an endoscopy, which is like putting the camera down your throat, and he was terrified of that, so he was delaying it, and he was on medication every single day. And then when I stopped drinking and he really backed off, that just disappeared. And he's never struggled with it again in almost a year and a half. So he was shocked because he's not like me. He was a normal drinker, and even then he was having a big effect. And another one I think people don't recognize is inflammation. So because alcohol is a toxin, it irritates your gut and just the whole pathway, like in and out. And because of that, as the irritation and inflammation gets worse, things can actually escape into your bloodstream, and then you get like general inflammation all over your body. And that's why if you have been sober for a while, you might notice that you are like your face looks better and you're not puffy anymore. And like for me, I think I have to resize my ring, and a couple people have commented like on my
watch
face.
This, look. My ring
Yeah.
was fall right off.
That's why you gotta get the rubber ones, guys.
Yeah.
So that is just like swelling because your immune system responds to like toxins or bacteria that escape, and it doesn't have to be like kill this thing, like let's go crazy. It just recognizes it as foreign, and it sends in the troops to just like be there. And if you have, you know, that happening every day from constant drinking, then you're always inflamed, and that can cause other issues. But whatever issue you're struggling with, consider alcohol as the cause. So like skin, hair, acid reflux, mental health, any mental health problem alcohol makes worse, heart issues, digestive issues. So whatever your problem is, do a little bit of research and search like alcohol and whatever your problem is.
Right.
And you'll probably find a lot of resources how it causes your problem.
Yeah, because, you know, being a counselor, typically, and I've had these thoughts myself, you know, being an alcoholic, where, okay, if something's wrong in my body, okay, let me cut out the sugar. Let me cut out this food. Let me cut out this. The alcohol doesn't come to my mind.
Yep.
You know, it's all these other things, and I'll hold on to the alcohol.
Yeah, maybe it's dairy or gluten or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's never alcohol.
Right, yeah.
Never.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, never. We don't want to give that up at all. But, okay. Well, thank you so much, Jill, for that. That's very insightful. You know me, I'm so fascinated by you. You're my favorite sober scientist, you know, in the whole world. Okay, now, before we get into all the Q&As and everything, in the group message, Blair, you had something that really was good that I think we should talk about. We all kind of liked it and agreed.
Yeah.
So what exactly was that question again?
I just want to acknowledge that like we're all real people and that we all struggle with, you know, things day to day. And it's not just like we removed alcohol and then our lives were just perfect, you know, like not to say that like this we're constantly struggling either, but I just want to acknowledge that it's not just always removing alcohol. It's also like a lot of working on yourself, you know? So I don't know if anybody wants to say, like, I'll go first, actually. Okay. I'll just say like, something we're like working on, like, and that we can say that it's just like a constant process, right? So like, since removing alcohol for me, like I've now had to deal with like stress in a different way. I couldn't just like, oh, I've had a stressful day. Now I'm going to like have a beer, you know, and think that that's going to fix it. But, so I've had to like learn different ways to manage the stress. So for me, like just taking a few deep breaths when I'm feeling that way, has helped me, or go for a walk, eat some chocolate. I don't know, like, you know, the sugar, right? The sugar cravings that you get, even still, yeah, Sarah at some good clean fun asked about that, the sugar craving. So I am 3 years out and I still love sugar. And I feel like I need a piece of chocolate after every meal, not breakfast, but like lunch and dinner. I need a little piece of chocolate. So, I don't know. Anybody else have a thing that they're kind of working on still?
Well, I mean, for me right now, it's like work stress and
Yeah.
I have an added back issue that I've been kind of sharing, but that's kind of why I share it, because it's like, okay, this isn't all like, you know, everything's going great and all this stuff.
Right.
Like for me, that is a real trigger, because that's how I kind of handled back pain when I got it before, was with alcohol. So it's just, you know, dealing with it in different ways, like you said, Blair. And but the thing is like the farther away from alcohol I get, the better equipped I am at handling it. And my first thought, like 2 years ago, would have been drink. Now my first thought is more like, I need to stretch, I need to do this, I need to do that. And like my 20th thought is like, oh, alcohol.
Yeah, right.
It's still maybe there, but yeah, I mean, it's just dealing with, things that come up in better ways. I mean, just you're better equipped to do it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You can go ahead, Jill.
Yeah, so my biggest thing is probably anger. That's what comes up for me.
I can't imagine you
I know.
angry.
Yeah, I still can't.
Like I don't think
Yeah.
like I cannot even imagine you yelling. Like, can you actually yell? Like I don't know, man.
I've yelled probably like 2 times.
Oh, yeah.
I think I yelled really bad the night before my wedding. My husband and I had the worst drunken fight that we've ever had the night before our wedding.
Wow.
And we didn't sleep. I think we got like 3 hours of sleep, and we both had huge hangovers. And like I was worried that we weren't going to like get married. The fight was so bad. So that was one time I did actually scream.
Oh.
But we got married. Yeah, but for me, it's anger, and it just shows up. Like, it's not that, someone says something and it pisses me off, or something happens at work and it makes me mad, but like it'll just appear. Like I might just wake up just filled with rage, or something stupid. Like Blair and I have talked about this freaking WordPress.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build a website. Like that has made me so mad. And then it just stays. And that's my problem. Like when I first stopped drinking, it would stay for days, and it would just be this background rage that I couldn't escape from. And now I'm better equipped to like have it be there, but still like live my life. So it's not like taking over anymore, and it doesn't last for days, but it took a lot of practice and therapy.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, like not drinking anymore, not using drugs anymore, to be honest, that was the easy part. Honestly, the hard part was actually what your question really is, Blair. It's, well, what else, like things you got to work on? Like my biggest, like thing like my biggest character defect, or the thing I work on, I need to work on the most, and I probably will never stop working on it as long as I live, is control. I like to be in control, and if I'm not in control, I'm out of control, like, I mean, back then it was really bad. It does pop up in me once in a while. And, my wife, if it has something to do with her, she will make me aware of it. She really will. And then that makes me, because sometimes I cannot be aware of it, and like, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I can make these adjustments. But something that, like, you just spoke about it, Jill, and I'm sorry guys, I wasn't able to message you guys my questions. I wrote them down, though I have them, but it was in regards to anger and things like that, because something for me that was directly connected to my drinking, and vice versa, was anger. And I just was like, my whole life I just blamed my dad, like, because of him. That's why, what I mean? And I was satisfied with that answer, and every time he got mad, it just justified it even more and more and more, why I can behave this way. And I found something out, because I got sober in a 12-step program. So in this process, I found out something about my anger. I thought anger, it was just there kind of thing. And actually, I found out there was something behind my anger. I didn't ever think that there ever was. But not all of my anger, but the majority, what was behind of it for me was fear. And I didn't realize that. And it leads back to control. So, like, give you guys an example. So, like, my ex-girlfriend, all my girlfriends broke up with me, by the way. Yeah, I was bad, and so she broke up with me. And so I'm afraid to be alone. I'm afraid she's going to leave. I'm afraid she's going to find somebody better. So I'm going to get mad. I got angry, like punching holes in walls and flipping stuff, and, burning out with my car and all these things. But it wasn't until, I became aware of them. I believe education and knowledge will bring awareness. See, after I'm aware of something, I mean, that's like half the solution. Now I got to put action into whatever it is that, I'm trying to heal from or get better from, or things like that. But, before we go on, so Kevin, I have a question from a mystery person, specifically for you.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know what Jim has to say.
It's so funny. He's gonna say, he told me Kevin's gonna know it's coming from me. I never even asked you yet, and you already knew who it was from. Oh man. So okay, Kevin, here's the question. So
I'm gonna have my finger on the X here just in case.
It's a good one, man. I'm so curious to hear this answer as well. So if you had to give up one of these, which would it be? Never have coffee again or sex?
Never have coffee again.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no question there.
Yeah, okay, because I know you love your coffee, bro.
Can I at least have, like, I don't know, Red Bull or something that has caffeine in it? Like, there's other options. So.
Right, okay, gotcha. Wait, Blair, were you going to answer that question too?
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't even really know Jim, but like that sounds like a Jim question. Like, I don't really even know him that well.
Yeah, he got a good sense of humor. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's full of energy. Yeah, just be aware. If you ever meet him in real life, be aware he is full of energy. Yeah, he really is. And I'm sorry, before we move forward, I cannot keep track of everybody's comments. So if you actually do have a question, please leave it in the question mark box, because I actually have one. I think it's a couple in there now.
Can I say something real quick before you do that? I'd like to acknowledge Cash King here in the comments. If you feel free to reach out to any one of us after this if you want to talk more, or maybe we'll reach out to you after this. We're here if you want to talk.
Okay, got it. Sorry, see, I wasn't able to read all that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, right on. Thanks for catching that, Blair.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. My goodness, this is so small. I can't even read it. This person says, okay, here's my question. I'm almost at a year sober, and I can't stop the sugar cravings. I'm currently watching, what? Oh, I don't know if it's too long because it keeps going, but it doesn't show. Something.
I think if you click on it, it'll like pop up.
Yeah, I did, but it cuts off even so. It's like a super long question. Either way, I click on
about the sugar. I think did we talk about that a little bit earlier?
We just touched on it briefly, but not really.
That sounds like a Jill question.
Explain the sugar cravings. Explain the sugar cravings, Jill.
Yeah, so, I mean, food and alcohol kind of go together. Like, they both make you feel good in a similar way. And sugar is very accessible, and it's easy for us to get. And it also gives you that dopamine spike. Mm-hmm. And the thing with sugar is, unless if it's like a problem for you, like alcohol was, and you should never have it again, you really just have to tell yourself no, and you have to stop buying it. I just came off of a 2-month ice cream every day kind of situation. And
I've seen your stories.
Every day. Yep. Yeah, it was every day. I didn't post it every day, but it was happening every day. And it was even delivery ice cream, guys. Like, that's even worse. But
I need that.
And then at the end of February, I was like, okay, tomorrow is March. Enough. Like, this has to stop. Enough. And it sucked for the first couple of days, but I stopped. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just have to tell yourself, like, you need to stop doing this and stop buying it. And don't say, like, never again. Say, like, Saturday night I can have ice cream because I have some in the freezer. But I don't have to have it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes you just have to tell yourself no. And there's other foods. Like, for me, Nutella is, like, something that I can never have ever because I'll go nuts on that. So if you have one of those foods, like, you know, just get it out, get away from you, and never bring it back.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I think she mentioned it was like Reese's eggs, which I currently have a bag of 60 upstairs right now from Costco. So my husband and I both love them. And no, I don't think that stops again. Like, we just have to say, don't buy them anymore. Like, you know, that's kind of what Because they're too good.
Yeah.
Which is why we bought the 60 pack.
I noticed too, like within, I would say, my first year being sober, I really upped my sugar intake. I never really noticed it till later. I thought back on it. Like I was eating M&Ms like every day, like all day. I always have chocolate or sugar. And I never really thought it had anything to do with, because I'm sober or what, my body's changing and what. I just like late at night, early in the morning, like it didn't matter. I always had like candy on me. And I wasn't a big candy eater, I mean, I just drank and used drugs. That's all I did, and
that was your candy.
Yeah, pretty much. But I really love ice cream too, Joe. I really do. So I feel you on that one.
Yeah, I had issues because I do have a huge sweet tooth, and it's more for candy, like stuff like Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids, and that kind of stuff. And I'm like a child. But yeah, like when I first stopped drinking, I was just like, I don't care how much of that I eat, as long as I'm not drinking, whatever. And then eventually I kind of tried to, it's just, you're right, Joe, you just kind of have to address it. And, eating better things throughout the day helped me, or trying to swap out, the really sugary stuff with something else that's, a little bit better for you or whatever, really helped me. But I'm currently in a 2 or 3 month stint as well. Yeah, kind of.
I will say I did an added sugar cleanse once for like a week, I think, where I just didn't eat any added sugar. So nothing I ate, like you could eat natural sugars and everything, and just learning about how much sugar is in everything. Yeah. Okay, I realized I just said that I have this Reese's egg bag upstairs, but like it did help me like learn a little bit more about how much is in everything and like how much we actually are not supposed to have. Like, so sugar itself is like another thing that's just bad for you, right? And it causes a lot of different problems. So I think for women, it's like 24 grams a day you're supposed to have, and like a can of Mountain Dew is like 40. Like, it's really crazy. So just learn more about it. I think same thing. I'm sure a lot of us learned about all the effects of alcohol and all that stuff too. Like, right, when we quit, and like we learned what it does to your body and your mind. And so same with sugar. Like if you learn more about it, and then maybe it'll change the way you think about it. I think that'd be a good.
Yeah. And this is a good segue into what we're talking about in our Zoom meeting yesterday, because I mentioned something to Kevin about how, it was a physical transformation for him as well. So let's get into that, Kev, about like how that all came about.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I ended up stopping because I was having health issues, and that was really kind of what started it for me. Because I just knew as my my blood pressure was going up, and I'm getting ultrasounds on my liver and stuff like that. That I'm like, all right, I need to stop. And so I got to my heaviest at like 235 back then, and I don't like to talk about the weight. I think we talked about this. I don't like to talk about like the weight loss part of it, because really, I mean, that's different for everybody, right? So people, you shouldn't expect, I gave up alcohol, I haven't lost any weight, I gained weight, I gained
right.
I lost like 10 pounds immediately, like water weight.
Yeah,
that's because I was so much over what I should have been. And once that went off, then I started gaining weight because I was eating all the Swedish Fish. And so I just didn't focus on it, and like I just kind of gave myself a period of time where I was just like, you know what, like I said before, as long as I don't drink now, I don't care what I'm doing. I don't have the brain power to go to work and focus on this and do the other things I'm doing, and then try and also stress myself out with losing weight or eating however I thought was right, or working out a certain way.
Right.
So it took me like 9 months to even start that. And then I'm like, okay, I felt enough brain capacity to say, okay, I'm going to try and like focus on what I'm putting in my body. And then, then I lost a little weight. Then I'm like, okay, well now I can start working out again. Then I lost a little bit more weight. And it's just kind of like, it's just a progression, right? I mean, each step of the way you get a little bit better and you can add more things in. And I went against my normal nature and I just took it slow. Usually I
Yeah.
try and do everything at once, which is why I was just like, just do this. Just
Yeah.
don't drink, and that's all you got to worry about. And then when you're ready, good with that, go to the next thing, and then just see what sticks and how it works.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool, man. You know, like, because as we get older, like, it gets harder to lose weight, you know, because
Yeah.
that happened to me as well. And for me, it was like directly connected to me getting sober because, I mean, my mind was so jacked up. And growing up in Hawaii, I mean, you learn how to eat all the wrong foods. Like, you don't even have teeth yet, and your mom is feeding you rice, you know, and everything, and you know, spam and like fried foods, and you know, and then a lot of it, tons of it. So I already had this habit of eating, like, I mean, huge breakfast, huge lunch, huge dinner, and like ice cream, gallons of ice cream and stuff like that. Um, but it's because of those thinking patterns and ways of thinking that kind of was directly connected to my addiction. And so what I started doing was my wife heard about the keto diet and she wanted to do it. And, you know, I'm a supportive husband. So I said, okay, I'll do it with you. So it'll be easier, you know, and but I started losing weight like drastically. Like in the beginning, it was very rapid. Like I lost 20 pounds, I would say in like the first month or something like that. Something like that. And you know, I loved it because I can eat all these fried foods and everything still, you know, it's still. But that's how I lost a lot of weight initially. And then like kind of how you just described, Kevin, like, you know, it was like a 9 month thing. And then, but like now it just kind of becomes like this way of life, you know, kind of thing after a while. Like in the beginning of trying to do something different and get better, it's always going to have like challenges and resistance and it's going to be tough. But then like sooner or later, it's like a natural thing, like brushing our teeth or something like that. Because I was big, bro. You know, there's no small Hawaiians that exist. You know? Yeah, they don't
It's also a
exist.
lot
Yeah, they
easier
don't.
for men to lose weight, I feel, than women. So often women get discouraged, especially if they're doing it with their partner. And I don't know how your wife felt, Alika, but like I've heard a lot of women say like, oh, they're both, you know, we're both on the same exact diet. We're eating the same thing, but like he's losing all this weight and I'm not. So I know, I mean, we're just built differently.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what she said. Word for
Is
word.
it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 But then I've had friends, like my female friends, like they've lost tons of weight on it as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, well, you know, I guess our body chemistry. Maybe Jill can tell us about that. I don't know. I don't know how all that works. You know.
Everyone's different, right?
Yeah, everyone's
That's
different,
basically
Yeah.
it.
Right.
But before we move on, guys, there is another question.
Yep, he lost more than I did.
No. Okay, so I was 240. I lost a bunch of weight, and now right now I'm 218. So like yeah, I gained a bunch of back too. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I was 235. I went down to 195, and now I'm like 210 again.
Yeah. So
Question for Alika, it says too. I mean, I see you added that question, but then any length for treat says question.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So considering the effects of the mind and body, how does this affect how you approach different people as a counselor? Okay.
That's a good question.
Okay, that's a good one. So it's honestly my approach in regards to the effects like on the mind and body. Our minds, like the solution basically is all pretty much the same. Approach could be different in the could be depending on if this person had a hard life upbringing or you know they came from a good family. They can you know they can like actually talk and have a conversation and things like that. But as far as you know, approaching. I guess that's what this question is asking. How you approach. Yeah. So like the actual counseling part, it's all the same because I found like the way I guess you could say that I counsel has been so effective that I'm not gonna change it unless it stops working, basically. And that's a whole nother video, honestly. Like I can talk about this for the rest of the life, but you know, just to kind of answer that question, it would really depend on male, female, their upbringings, their cognition at time of like intake, they're admitted, things like that. Because I typically will counsel one-on-one after detox because they're so foggy. Nothing's going to be sticking to their brain. They're not going to really learn anything or anything like that. Okay, but somebody asked a question a while back in the question box. I don't even know. So it says, what are the effects of, I don't even know what this word is. I went public high
I don't
school,
know
guys.
that.
Here, I'll spell it to you guys. It's Kratom. Anybody know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Or Adderall, meth, and Viagra. I kind of don't understand. I
I
understand
don't know
what
if that's
Viagra
really
does. I know that. I understand the effects of that.
I don't know if that's really a question
It might
that's
be like a statement or something.
it's maybe off topic.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, it's an opiate. Oh,
Yeah.
Crete.
Kratom or
Oh,
Okay, they
whatever.
spelled it wrong.
it's an
Okay.
opiate. Kratom? I don't know.
Opiate, okay.
I
It
don't
says that,
really
yeah,
have
they take it to avoid symptoms of opioid withdrawal.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. It's to help them taper off, basically. So that's like harm reduction, basically. Yeah, it is. It's very dangerous and addictive. Some people
okay.
can stop using their drug of choice, like Xanax or something, and they can still be on that for years. People I've met like that, they typically don't have any sort of program in them. They're just kind of sober and just winging it and things like that. They're not trying to grow as a person or nothing like that. They're just kind of depending on this drug to keep them from going back to their actual drug of choice and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
thank you guys for chiming in there.
Yeah.
We're
not medical. I'm not a medical professional.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah, Jill is the closest actually. So is it okay if I have a few questions here for you guys? I know,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't do this on purpose. I was gonna message them. I
Go
got
for
home
it.
too late. Now, Kevin, I know you're a parent, aren't you? You have a daughter, is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so you have a daughter. I know, Blair, you have a son.
Yep.
And then you're married, right, Joe? You're just married. You guys don't have children yet. Okay.
Yep.
So, how has being sober or alcohol free affected your relationship with your daughter, your kids, and your spouse? Anybody can go first.
I'm calmer. That's probably the biggest
Yep.
thing, and not that I wasn't Jill. I wasn't, I didn't have anger issues. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just calmer. Like, I don't fly off the handle as much, or just get stressed out as much, or whatever. I can sit there and just process things better, and it just, when you're dealing with a now 13-year-old, that's always a beneficial trait.
So how old was she when you quit drinking?
Like 11.
Okay.
So not much better. But yeah, no, I mean, that's my, I'd say, biggest change.
Yeah, but do you find your relationship with your daughter, you guys got closer, or did it?
Oh, yeah, I think for sure. Because I'm just more present, all the time.
Uh-huh.
I'm not waking up late to go to soccer games, or
Right.
I'm just here, and definitely more just present with my mind and engaging and helpful, and just calm.
Yeah, that's good. I remember somebody told me one time, man, your presence doesn't make you present. Just because you're physically there, it doesn't mean that you're actually there.
Yep.
So that's cool. Okay, ladies.
So I was, my son was only 18 months old when I quit drinking. So he's definitely a lot more stress inducing now that he's 4. So I'm very glad that I do not drink right now, because I could not imagine dealing with that when I'm hungover. They want to go at 6 a.m. They don't care what time it is. He was ready to go to the park at 8:30 this morning. So I just would not have been ready for that. And even when he was a baby, I feel like I was kind of waiting for nap time so I could take a nap. I was waiting for bedtime. So when is my mom job over for the day? It sounds horrible to say, but that's kind of how I thought, is this day over so I can go to bed and feel better tomorrow? Maybe, And then with my husband too, I just feel like we have very little arguments about stupid things. Like I would just pick arguments for no reason, like for literally no reason. Like, and now it's just, you know, you pick your battles sort of, but nothing's perfect, obviously. But yeah, it's just a lot better and like calmer, like Kevin said. So
Yeah,
I'm still obnoxious though. I'm still obnoxious. I'm still loud and annoying. Yeah.
I'm a smart
So
ass,
not
yeah.
everything. Oh yeah. I'm so sarcastic. Like that's just who I am. So.
So no more like waking him up at 3 a.m. to have a conversation.
Right. No. And I would be so mad if he woke me up at 3 a.m. Now, like sleep is like my life. Like I love sleep. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and for me, so my marriage was really bad at the end of my drinking. We were probably heading for at least a separation. And we had a lot of fights because he would get very impatient and I would get very sensitive when we were drinking together. And I drank every day and he drank almost every day. So that's a lot of opportunities to have a fight. Yeah, so it was just like constant problems. And when I was drinking, I was extremely dramatic and everything was his fault. He was the worst husband.
Yeah.
Every problem we had, it was 100% him. And why does he have to be the worst? Why can't he just be better? Like, why can't he be great like me? And yeah, so it was really bad. And then I was actually afraid that things would get worse when I stopped drinking. I was afraid that we wouldn't even be able to like talk and connect or anything. And it just got a lot better. I feel like we're dating again. Like I've learned so much about him because I don't just, like we were talking about yesterday, I don't just get drunk and watch music videos and cry to myself anymore.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was something I did a lot. And when I was drinking too, like we didn't like to be, I'll just say it, we didn't like to have sex when I was drunk because if you've listened to my sex episode, I give a whole detailed story about it. But yeah, I wasn't a sexy drunk person. I was like really weird and just extremely distracted. And it
But
just
you thought you were a sexy drunk person, I bet, right? Like we thought we were like so sexy, I'm sure, but like none of that, right? Is sexy.
Yeah, I took so many selfies. I thought my old phone, I can't even look at it. It's all drunk selfies. And to answer the question in the chat, he still drinks. He's actually drinking tonight. He's out picking up dinner for us, and he told me that he was probably going to get a Boda box of wine. So I asked him to not drink wine around me because that was my drink. And then when I was around like 14 months sober, I started like playing around with how that felt if he did that in front of me because wine was his favorite drink. So he gets those, the box of wine, but the little juice box one. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I think it's like 2 or 3 glasses of wine. It's a lot. It's not like a single serve thing.
Those are the ones I got when I was like gonna be good. I'm only gonna drink these.
Yeah.
And then I would go
so
later.
handy.
Yeah, I would go later in the week and get the big 4-bottle box
Yep.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, so he drinks those and then he has it like, whatever, and then throws it out. It's not like there's an open bottle around just like staring at me. So that's kind of what we're doing. But he does drink around me. It's not very often though.
Okay, that's good. Does anybody else have a question? I have a few written down. So, but I don't
How about you though? You're a new dad. You're a new dad, right? So
I forgot.
How could you imagine now being still drinking and whatnot, being the new dad with this baby?
Okay, so I got sober. I was sober for about like 4 months, I think, before I met my wife. So every woman that I had a relationship with prior to my wife, it was all bad. It was all bad. Yeah, it was all bad. Every woman, I think, except for one, out of every woman I was in a relationship with, I only broke up with one. They all broke up with me. And you know, at the time when it's happening, oh, it's of course their fault. It's all your fault. You did this. Da, 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 da. You know, wasn't until I got sober and kind of got to work on myself and see. I'm like, oh, dang, it was my fault. But you know, being like fully equipped with facts about myself going into my relationship with my now wife, who was my girlfriend back then. Um, it has affected our relationship tremendously, like in the regards to you know, being present for sure. But when I was actively like just drinking, um, I literally did not have the capacity to think about somebody else. I just didn't. Even though I wanted to, I would project that I do by my charm and words, but my actions was saying the exact opposite, you know. So learning these things about myself and implementing these solutions and, you know, taking action in my relationship with my wife when she was my girlfriend. I mean, she married me, so that's proof. You know what I mean? She said, "I do." You know. So you know that really was a humongous deal for me. And then now with my son, like, see, my son will never see me drunk. He'll never see his mom. Got to pack him up into the car. Go look for me late at night at this bar. You at this friend's house. You with this girl at this hotel or whatever. She has never experienced that, and she will never experience that ever as long as I'm alive. And it's all, you know, I mean, it's all because of God helped me, really. But it's all because I stopped drinking, I stopped using, I found a program that worked for me. I'm in recovery, and I'm doing the deal, you know, like one day at a time, basically. So yeah, I guess that's my answer. I forgot. I didn't think about answering these questions. I thought I was just going to ask you guys.
Can I ask a question kind of related to that?
Yeah, yeah,
So I feel like that's really exciting for you that your child is never gonna, you
yeah.
know you that way. So I don't know, Kevin, this might be putting you on the spot a little bit, but I know it's a common thing that people deal with and parents when they quit and their kid is, 11, or they have seen them maybe under the influence and bad situations or not. I don't know, how do you deal with that? Have you felt any like shame with that? And like, have you had to have talks with your daughter and what have you dealt
I,
with in that?
I'm definitely, because I've talked about this before, because like I've always said, because I've heard people say what you said, like
Yeah.
about, like, oh, I'm so happy that my kid's never going to see me like drunk or anything. I'm like, okay, well, I don't have that option. That ship
Mhm.
has sailed. So
Mm,
uh, I kind of look at it now where I'm happy that she has seen me that way, and then I'm happy that she's seen what it took for me to go through quitting and where I'm at today. And
Yeah.
so I you got to put a positive spin on it. I mean, is there shame? I have different memories where, yeah, I might have been ashamed of stupid shit I did, that I've talked to my therapist about, and my wife, and
Hmm.
that, and not so much my daughter, because it's just I don't bring up what I feel is appropriate, and
mhm.
Right.
but yeah, like last night I was working on my reel for 1,000 Hours Dry this morning, and I'm looking to her, I'm like, what do you think of this? And she's giving me tips because she's the TikTok
Yeah.
pro. Um,
I know you got an
but
upper hand.
yeah, so she starts, then she started asking me like, why is it, because my thing was like, the one bottle of wine is the cancer equivalent of 5 cigarettes for men or 10 cigarettes for
Mhm.
women. And she's, we started talking about, well, why is it different for men or women? And, so
Hmm.
we have had these conversations, me doing this kind of thing on here. So, I think it's good to, talk to your kids as much as you feel is
Mhm.
appropriate. Again, the whole spectrum, ages, and how
Yeah.
much you drank, how much they saw, where you're at now. And,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad that, like I said, she can hopefully come talk to me now that she knows, or, she has a little bit more education on it.
Mhm.
Um, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah,
Still,
that was a really dope reel, bro. I seen it this morning.
Yeah, that was really
That was
good.
really good, bro.
thanks.
Yeah.
I never really smoked before either, so that was fun to try and do that.
Okay. Anybody else got a question?
I mean, I have some questions that people ask, but I don't
Okay.
see any. Do I? Oops.
Oh, somebody said asked about like your first days. How are your first days when you guys got sober?
Oh, okay.
Someone
Here we go.
asked.
It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, Joe.
Sure. So I was working. I stopped drinking, I guess, like on a Sunday morning was when I decided that I was done. And then that day was just like, can this day end and I can go to bed? Because I had a disgusting hangover. It was so bad. So I just like survived that day, and I just watched Netflix and sat under a blanket, and I think I got like mozzarella sticks and pizza or something like that. That's what I used to eat back then. And then I had to go back to work, and I felt so ashamed. I was like, everyone's gonna know something's different. And all I did was I had my headphones in. I work in a lab, if any of you guys don't know me. So I had my headphones in. So it's basically like, don't talk to me. I had them in, and I listened to sober podcasts for that whole week. I just binged them like for 8 hours, and I just did my work and listened to podcasts, and that got me through. And I just tried to get through, and then I did a week, and I was like, whoa, a whole week, that's nuts. And then, before you know it, the time passes, and you're at like 16 months or something, or 3 years, Blair. So that was my experience. So just distraction, sober support, whether that's like YouTube or watching these, like you could binge watch all of Alika's interviews on IGTV, something like that.
Yeah, I did the same kind of thing. It was like a Monday when I decided, Monday morning, and I was at work, and so typically I wouldn't drink, during the week much. So it's not like I was like tempted to drink during the week that week. But yeah, it was just like she said, just literally binging all the addiction memoirs and the podcasts and the audio books. And the book I always tell people to read is This Naked Mind. That's like the one that changed my brain for sure. Yeah, just did all of that, and then it just take it day by day. All you have to do is really just not drink in this second that you're sitting in, like, and then when, time goes on, if you get a feeling about it, distract yourself, like she said, or some people are into like non-alcoholic beer or wine, or making a different kind of drink, whatever to distract yourself, I think is good.
Yeah. I got a kind of a similar question. What's the best piece of advice you got when you first stopped drinking? And the one thing I wrote down as the answer was, I just wrote the pause because I remember talking, I started with therapy and things like that. So it was, I remember her telling me, just whenever you feel like you need a drink, or you want to go drink, just take a break, take a pause, and then you kind of have to fill in the blank. What are you going to do then? Because before I would like take a pause and white knuckle it through and just sit there and think about drinking, but not drink. And that doesn't help. So for me, it was like connection and distraction, like you said, Blair. Like distraction, whether it's, pulling out my phone and playing a game for 20 minutes, or now like I have that Reframe app that works. Watching an episode of The Office, but I think the biggest thing is distraction works, but I think early on, I think connection, like whether it's like you said, watching these, go in and just you're not necessarily talking to somebody, but you're listening to other people's stories, or going to any kind of meeting that you go to. I know a lot of times I would just DM one of my friends on here that I made and just be like, hey, do you have a minute? Like, you know, I'm having a rough time, and you know, I always try to be respectful of them because I don't want to just go in and blast them with my issues if they're not ready to take it. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, or messaging my therapist, or talking to my wife, or whatever. But talking to somebody, messaging somebody was always what got me through.
Cool. That's
I don't know
good.
if that
Okay.
answered the actual question that's here.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. What was the actual question? Okay. What were your first few days like? Okay, when you guys got sober.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty rough. See, I got into a 12-step program, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is gonna work, guarantee, I'm sure of it. Oh no, I was so much uncertainty. What I did have though was a little bit of hope. I had like like half of a grain of salt of hope that, you know, because I'm like, man, if all these people in this room is not lying, then okay, I think I got a chance, you know, kind of thing. And what helped me in those times when it was hard was like I made friends, and I would hang around with other sober people. I would read some sort of sober literature or something like that to kind of help my mind. Okay, well, another thing what I used to do was this. I went on Netflix. This is like newly sober. But I would read literature. I would do all these things, hang out with the sober people. But like in times of when I wasn't with them, I would always make sure I was around them as much as I could be, honestly. But if I wasn't, if I was at home, I went on Netflix and I just looked at the show that had the most seasons. I didn't care what it was, and I just would watch it to kind of keep my mind busy, so I'm not thinking about drinking or using drugs. And that was helpful because by the time like I got done watching an episode or two, then somebody will call me. Oh, you want to go to a meeting? Oh yeah, let's go, or something like that. But it wasn't. I wasn't like I didn't walk into these rooms being like, okay, now it's time to get sober and everything's gonna work and everything's gonna be great. No, it was hard, man. It was tough. Yeah.
I think a common theme for all of us is just like knowing that there's other people out there that have the same are dealing with the same thing, you know, like whether it's like an in-person person or if it's an audio book that you're listening to or an Instagram person that you know. Like I think hearing stories, and that's why I like am interested in telling mine and hearing all of yours and doing things like this, because I didn't know that there were other people out there that were like me, you know, and there were. So, and I think any of you will agree that if someone is watching this and they don't have anybody, like DM me, like if I'm on my phone, I'll talk to you for a little bit. Like, you know, there's people out there that are on your side and can help you through it pretty much. That's what I.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. You got any other questions, Kev? Or you had another one
what's the number one tool you reach for today?
Okay, I'll answer this one first. So the number one tool I reach for today is acceptance. Ooh, that one helps me in every single aspect of my life because I was very judgmental and I was unaware of it. See, this is my exact way of thinking. I'll share with you guys. So I would judge other people by their actions, then I would judge myself by my intentions. Like I'm so great. However, I was doing the same thing I was judging everybody for, you know, like, ooh, I want to talk to my wife that way. I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have did this, but I was doing all these things. It's just crazy. But also if somebody like, I don't know, having a bad day and they come at me wrong or something, well, like, you know, I implement acceptance into, well, maybe this person is going through a rough time. But my mind typically would never think that way because I was so selfish and only thinking about myself. You know, start thinking, well, how do you know he's not going through a divorce? How do you know he never went bankrupt or whatever? He lost his job, like, or she lost her kids to the court system, and that's why she cut you off. She's speeding on the freeway or whatever it is. That has helped keep me calm, and that has helped me kind of like set aside the anger, I guess you could say. You know, I replace like anger with acceptance. If I accept people the way they are, I cannot get angry at them. You know, it doesn't happen.
Love that.
You know?
So good.
I can keep going.
I think like humor is one for me. Like I just like love to laugh at myself. Like I just think it's so funny. I don't know. And not to make light of things, but like, you know, I mean, we can't go back in the past and change anything that we did, right? So obviously there's some things that feel shameful about or I regret doing, but like I think just laughing, it doesn't always help everything, but I use it a lot, maybe more than I should. It's kind of like a defense mechanism for me, like sarcasm and humor, but hey, it's better than the opposite of that, I suppose, right?
You know, somebody once told me laughter is an instant vacation.
Yeah, perfect.
I don't know, Jill, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah. So mine is also acceptance. So that started like the day that I stopped drinking. I accepted that I'm just not somebody that can drink. It's always going to be a disaster. And then throughout my sober time, I just accept reality. Like I just look at whatever's going on and I see it for what it is. I'm not trying to make excuses or like, I don't know, dress things up and make it seem better than it is, or like make it extra dramatic and even worse than it is. I just see something and it is what it is, and I accept it, and that prevents me from getting like too upset. Or this was a big one when like I fell off the pink cloud and I was like, life is great, everything's wonderful, but like why can't I drink like everybody else? And I just accepted it again, like, yep, you know you can't, and that's cool, so let's move on. And it took some time, it was an instant, but everything that happens to me, I'm just able to accept it eventually, and then that just helps me not like be upset by things.
Cool. So I have one last question, but does anybody else have any other things or any other questions? I'm sorry.
No.
What? Oh, I thought somebody was going to have something. I cannot believe it's been like an hour already. I cannot believe that. I just looked at the clock. You know, okay, I guess we'll wrap it up with this last question then if nobody. This is such a bummer. I cannot believe this 1 hour went by already. Oh, man. I can't.
Don't be mad it's over. Be happy that it happened.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'll just rewatch it after it's over.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the last question that I have for all of us, myself included. Now, if you answer this question, yes or no, if you could just give us a little explanation. Now, so this is, again, a question for all of us. So do you think you can, or do you ever think you can safely drink alcohol again?
I like this question.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, you can go first.
Nope. And I think that goes with your guys talking about acceptance. Like, you know, once I just realized like it is no longer an option. Like I've proved every time that I can't do it without possibly something dangerous happening or whatever, you know, like it's just, accepting, nope. No. And so I don't even, there's not like a time, there's not even a time like in my life where I think, oh, maybe I'll drink at my son's wedding. I just like, no, I'm not gonna drink. Like, it's not even like an option. And that didn't happen right away either, you know, and it's not like it's an easy thing, but yeah, hard no for me.
Yeah. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah.
Or Jill, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, for me, it's also a no. So alcohol kind of makes me really suicidal. Took some time to realize that, but yeah, it makes me extremely suicidal. So I know that it's very dangerous to do it again. So no.
Okay, we got that one. Yeah.
Yes, when I'm 80 and don't care anymore, I can do it. But no, I mean, for me, it's sure, you know, I could implement rules and follow them for
Yeah.
a little bit of time, maybe, but it's just too much. I mean, it's just not worth it. And so, no, I mean, it is a hard no. I mean, I can say that jokingly, kind of, but it is a hard no. That it's just it's not worth it. And I'll revisit it 40 years from now, and at that point, I don't give a shit, and I'll be 81, and I can do whatever I want. But until that time, no.
You know,
It's almost like a scary thought. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say it's almost
no.
like a scary thought too. Like, who knows what would happen? Like, if I drank again, like, I don't even know. So, like, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not find out, huh? No.
And I know
Yeah.
a lot of people, like, you know, ask questions and all that, like, you know, how did you get to where you are? Because, like, I went through a whole process where I didn't know what my plan was. Like, I knew I needed to address alcohol, but I didn't know, like, this was going to be a forever thing or whatever.
Mhm.
And, you know, I had a lot of therapy sessions and a lot of talking with people about, you know, forever, one day at a time, you know, just maybe I'll try moderation, and, you know, a lot of back and forth, and until I finally kind of just figured out that, you know, once I got 60 days, 90 days behind me, I was just like, okay, this makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, we all seem to be in the same boat because I have a super duper hard no for sure. Um, you know, and it was a hard one to swallow, you know, in the beginning when I first got sober, because you know I would be under this delusion that I can actually drink like normal people. Like I can if I try, I can. But my experience has shown me that I cannot. I can't. I just cannot. You know, and like all you guys pretty much said, like I don't want to see. Let's say I drink again. Let's say me and my wife will go out tonight, and I start drinking again. See, nothing might not happen. I might not destroy my life right away, but sooner or later, I will guarantee destroy my life. Whether it's next week, next month, next year, it will happen to
Yep.
me. That is a definite, and I know that for myself. I know I can never, ever, ever safely use drugs and alcohol again for the rest of my life. And today, I'm okay with that because I accepted and I admitted, yep, that's me. I got a problem. And I accepted that I can no longer use it. But like you know, not really thinking about like a forever thing. That's too overwhelming. Like, wow, forever? I cannot what? But like one day at a time was more. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. Okay, I think I can. I think I can. I wasn't positive I could because the longest I think I've ever had like sober, like no drugs, no alcohol, like active in my addiction. At the max, I would say maybe like 3 to 4 weeks in 20 years. That's the longest period of time. In 20 years, I never had no drugs or alcohol in my system. So yeah, I was just a giant tornado, just destroying everybody that came across my path. And you know, I know that. So I know that's the truth for me. You know, so I definitely am not and don't want because you know I have too much to lose today. You know, I got my wife, I got my son, PRP. I'm trying to you know help the community, help the world through social media. You know, but oh, this has been so much fun. My goodness, I can't believe it went by so fast. I think whenever we do these like roundtable things, got to be like 2 hours or something. But, like 1 hour, it doesn't seem like long enough, you know. Or maybe I'm just so excited that I got all three of you guys on at the same time. I was so pumped for this. But I'd like to thank you guys so much for all you know for all of you being here today. Anybody got any closing remarks? Anything you guys want to say? Nothing,
No,
Blair? What?
I know. Blair doesn't have anything to say. Have a good weekend. Enjoy one more day still. I don't know. People work on weekends. I shouldn't say that. So people work on weekends, but I don't. So enjoy the rest of the weekend if you don't work.
Yeah, and thank you guys all for tuning in as well. I appreciate all of you guys, and thank you, Kevin, Jill, Blair. This has been great,
thank
man.
you.
We gotta do this again. So we
Yeah.
will do this again. I should just say
Mhm.
that. Yeah. So, okay, you guys have a great weekend as well.
Do.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Aloha.
Bye.
Okay, guys, that was the first live with three other people that I've done. So again, You know, I usually go with one person. So this whole month I'm booked up with people every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. They're coming on to share their story of how they went from an addiction to a solution, basically. And it doesn't matter. 12-step program, therapy, God snapped his fingers, whatever. If you got sober, you know, you got a story to tell. People, in my opinion, need to hear it because there's so much of them struggling out there in the world. In 2019, 760,000 people died as a direct result of this addiction. So you guys can check out the website. It's prorecoverypower.com. You guys can get your gear there, see what we're all about. Clothing is just part of Pro Recovery Power. Thank you guys again, and please tune in tomorrow. I will be back with Sarah. So stay tuned, guys. See you tomorrow.